If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I post a new Tom Brady video every day.
The greatest unsolved mystery in the history of sports is why Belichick benched Malcolm Butler for the whole Super Bowl.
This is what I don't get. I mean, I don't get it at all.
On his deathbed, it's going to be.
Tom Brady said that he felt like they were trying to win the game.
Well, I believe he was trying to win the game. I don't think he's throwing the game, but boy, I will never understand, and he'll never explain it.
Here was Bill Belichick moments ago on a conference call. This is what he said in response to the Malcolm Butler quote. I respect Malcolm's competitiveness. I'm sure he felt like he could have helped. In the end, we have to make the decisions that are best for the football team. That's really all I can say about that.
We found out through your book that Malcolm Butler did not play in Super Bowl 52 because he and Matt Patricia got into an argument, and Belichick just basically said, that's it.
What went into the decision with Malcolm not to play him tonight on defense?
I mean, we just played all the guys we could to, try to help us win in whatever packages we had,
Unless he whipped Matt Patricia's and they escorted him to jail, and if I'm Coach Belichick, I bond him out. You playing in this game?
I agree.
After his unbelievable interception against the Seahawks, just things hadn't been quite right between him and the Patriots. Remember he was late for his first OTA after that, and there was a stare down with Belichick, and the NFLPA actually had to intervene. And then some of the coaches, I think they felt like that Butler had gotten a little bit too big. There was a contract dispute, didn't play great against the Falcons in the Super Bowl. And, even Butler's admitted that, when in the practices, he got sick right before they played the Eagles in the Super Bowl and was hospitalized. And then when he came to practice, he's publicly admitted that he wasn't like as locked in as, he should have been. And I think that, the New England coaches can forgive a lot of sins, but, not being locked in before a Super Bowl, I think, is one of those that was unforgivable. And so, Butler and Matt Patricia, who was the defensive coordinator at the time, had a couple heated exchanges at practice. And, he learned that, he was essentially, that he was benched and that, his time as a Patriot was essentially over. And at the at the team party after they lost to the Eagles, he was deeply hurt and, knew that his time in New England was over. And, when teammates were asking him, like, what had happened, he had some choice words. And they're words that I can't even repeat on your show.
Malcolm Butler is sitting on the sidelines crying. There's no justification for this.
It still does not justify him not playing in the game.
You heard Danny Amendola say he felt like Malcolm Butler should have been playing. Now you're hearing Tom Brady say he wish he would have been playing. And there's been no one that has said that that Bill Belichick, that Matt Patricia, that the New England Patriots were on the side of right with this Malcolm Butler situation. There's been some people to say that they don't know what was going on or what happened, but no one has come to the defense of the New England Patriots. And I think that's telling because as I thought, as many other people thought, we all felt like Malcolm Butler would have helped this team, that Malcolm Butler was a better option to be in the game than some of the backup defensive backs they had to play in his absence. And I will never understand it. I don't know why it would happen. And obviously Tom Brady, Danny Amendola, and many of the New England Patriots that played in that game and lost that Super Bowl feel exactly the same way that everybody else does outside of Bill Belichick.
Yeah, we were just trying to run some packages that we had, for the game plan, and just, those guys that were out there for all the situations that we needed them for.
Belichick obviously cost Tom Brady a Super Bowl because Brady threw for a playoff record, not a Super Bowl record, a playoff record, 505 yards against a top 5 defense.
If the Patriots lose the Super Bowl because Tom Brady throws 2 interceptions and the defense only gives up 17 points and they give up less than 250 yards passing, we aren't questioning this. If Johnson Batamosi and these guys who are the backups play extremely well in the spot that Malcolm Butler would be in, I think we talk about it less. It's the fact that Nick Foles and that passing offense not only dominated all game, but was able to dominate on the game-winning drive, throwing a touchdown to Zach Ertz to win the game. And I think when all these things come into play, when Alshon Jeffrey goes off and all these different things happen, it doesn't really matter what's going on with the wins and losses. It's about how that particular position played.
this doesn't justify him not playing. I don't care how contentious the argument got, Skip. There is no justification other than the arrogance of Coach Bill Belichick believing that Malcolm Butler is just another cog and we can win this game without him. That's all that was, Skip.
He's one of your best players on your team. How could you have him on the sideline?
I mean, again, we're just trying to put everybody in the right spot to make plays and put those guys that we thought
him on the sideline.
No, the guys that I thought that we thought could make plays in the right situation.
Any sense as to why Belichick still dressed him? I mean,
yeah,
what's
that's a
that
good
all
question.
about?
I don't know why he was dressed for the game. I mean, obviously that game plan, they were having problems on defense. That's well documented. And, I have some discussions between the coaches at halftime about defensive adjustments that they needed to make in that game. I still don't know why, given the way that they were getting chewed up on defense, why they wouldn't even give him a look.
And it ended up possibly costing him or his team a great chance at winning. That's what this all was. Because I've seen it before. I played 14 years, and I've seen coaches and players almost come to blows. And ain't nobody didn't play the next game. As a matter of fact, they go back in the next series because it happened on the sideline, Skip. We're talking about, because he got into an argument at practice. Who in the hell haven't gotten into an argument with a coach at practice? And then that's the Super Bowl.
There's a sooner you do that you kept him active, that you get playing in a position that he's best at.
Well, I mean, we needed obviously enough guys active for the game to be able to play, and whatever situations that came up, if he was called upon, he was ready to play in those packages. If that situation arises, but just didn't.
Nah, you tried. You gonna make it. That's the game that you gonna choose. I'm gonna put my foot down and show y'all I'm lead foot Bill.
I mean, I think we just tried to play all those packages that we could to put everybody out there. I mean, he was active for the game, so
I can't imagine a scenario in which a player does something that he's not incarcerated. Because if you look at the night before the Super Bowl, Eugene Robinson, he got arrested. He played in the game.
He did.
He got arrested. You talk about you going to bench a player for an argument, a disagreement, a contentious disagreement with a coach, and you're not going to let him play when he played the most snaps during the regular season?
Yep.
It makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense. If you're that coach, believe that it's all about you and nothing else matters but me. As long as I'm here, we got a chance to win. And that's what happened.
The situation discipline, or what was the situation?
Again, it was just, the packages that we had in and the guys that we had out there for the matchups that we saw.
And you heard him say, and it's remarkable that he even has to say it, I believe we were trying to win. I mean, the notion that you have to even say that in the Super Bowl, and let me make it clear, I've been extremely critical of that decision by Belichick. I believe Belichick was trying to win. I don't know what the heck was going on with this, but I think this is Brady holding back. Because if I'm a player on that team, it would be very hard for me not to say, where the hell was our best defensive?
So he is joined at the hip with Belichick.
That is correct.
So if you attack Bill's boy, Matt Patricia, Coach Pencil, as I call him, he was the defensive coordinator. If you get into it with him, I don't know what words were used. There's probably some curse words used. And yet, is that egregious enough to bench him for the whole Super Bowl? Because he had simply played the most snaps of anybody on your defense through the regular season. And the first playoff games. And then all of a sudden, you don't explain to the team. You just suddenly don't play him.
You got a guy in Malcolm Butler who's arguably been your best defensive player for the last 3 years, who's approaching free agency, who has played 97.8% of your snaps this season. He has started every game. He doesn't find out until right before the national anthem that he's not going to play at all, and you call that a football decision?
If it was such a flagrant violation of the do your job rules, right, a flagrant violation of the Patriot way, then why not deactivate him entirely? Why waste a roster spot? Why tell him last second where he's either crying because he's lost in the moment of the national anthem or he's just been told he's benched in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I've gone around with that, and I have the only plausible, and I'm not saying this is the right thing to do, but the only plausible explanation that I can muster is if they had decided earlier in the day, and because I can't imagine what he did after he was dressed to piss everybody off, but if they had decided earlier in the day and they were going to make him inactive, would that have been such a drastic distraction for his secondary teammates to be able to dwell on it for an hour and a half and worry about it and perseverate on it and perhaps cause an insurrection, that it would have been a greater problem?
But isn't it worse to do it in real time so they're wondering that or having those feelings during the second quarter as opposed to getting over it before running out of a tunnel?
Yeah, I look at it two ways. For me, I could see, and I'm only just trying to say what I could see Belichick doing. Look, I'm not going to sit there and have a whole bunch of conversations and arguing and screaming matches with other guys in the secondary about how Malcolm's getting screwed. This is my decision, and they don't need to know about it. Told the captains, seemingly, told Duron Harmon, Deb McCourty, but guys like Eric Rowe didn't find out until the last second. So that is my – I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. I don't think the right thing to do unless, I don't know if it was the right thing to do to sit him down at all.
He started 17 out of 18 games played. It seems just bizarre that he couldn't find his way on the field and they're putting up 42 points. It's got to be more than that.
Sure. I mean, look, again, we had some guys in some different spots that we practiced, in those spots for a couple of weeks, and just felt good about some of those situations that we had out there and some of the matchups that they possessed based on their skill level, too.
Given how few answers the Patriots had for Nick Foles and the precision of that passing game, you do wonder why Malcolm Butler never got an opportunity. Even though they had some players that really improved throughout the course of that game, there were obviously pass game struggles, and it's hard to figure that a player that played 97.8% of the defensive snaps couldn't have helped to provide a bit of resistance, because really what it came down to, the Eagles made one more defensive play than the Patriots last night. Yeah. You wonder if 21 could have helped the team in white last night.
Yeah, I think that number says it all, because certainly it wasn't schematic. Butler led the NFL in defensive snaps in the last 3 seasons.
And what justification do you have? You got players, former players, Brandon Browner. Let me read this quote from Brandon Browner, former New England Patriots. Lost the game for us tonight. Stupid decision. Makes no sense. You make the decision to give the best chance to win, but you don't play your best cornerback. A locker room was divided pregame. Most yards ever given up in a Super Bowl game. And your best defender over the past 3 seasons doesn't get a snap. You were burnt where he was needed tonight. Dante Hightower liked Brandon Browner's post. So did Jamie Collins, Alfonso Denard. All I'm saying is these are people who know football, who have played for the New England Patriots, that have never seen anything like this. That's what bothers me more than anything else. There's no justification for this. They're talking about it's a football decision. You're supposed to be giving your team the best shot to win, and you do it like that? I think it was classless. I think it was cruel. I think it was wrong on the part of Bill Belichick. And I believe that is the question that he should be spending the entire week answering.
I told you the next day it felt a little sabotagey because it put Brady in a predicament of he's just throwing his guts out. He throws for a playoff record, not a Super Bowl, playoff record, 505. Right. Scores 33. I thought it should have been enough to beat the Eagles, but they lost 41-33. Correct. Which led to Tom Brady out here in Santa Monica at a conference in which he was paid to do an interview with Jim Gray. And Jim asked him, do you feel appreciated by Kraft and Belichick? Right. And he said, I plead the fifth.
Do you feel appreciated by them, and do they have the appropriate gratitude for what you have achieved?
I plead the fifth.
And that was the first negative words that ever came out of Tom Brady's mouth about his team.
Yep. I think everybody in general wants to be appreciated more at work, in their professional life.
That goes back to the Steph Wickersham when he tried to get Garoppolo. So this is just piling on. Also, I don't know nothing about no football. Ask Tom. That was another thing. So
Deflategate.
Right. This was just a culmination. It was just building and building and building. And then it came to the crescendo is that, Coach, I want to say goodbye. I would like to meet. I'm busy. So let's do this over the phone.
Really? Okay.
Boy, that Coach Belichick low down. Boy, Coach Belichick low down. Ooh, that joker low down for that one.
I imagine this is a repeat, but I wonder why Malcolm Butler didn't play on game.
Yeah, it was just some of the packages that we had set up and some of the matches that we were looking at. He was ready to go if we needed him, and just didn't really work out that way, in those situations.
Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe as I post a new Tom Brady video every day.